Why, yes, we're dating. A Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction written and narrated by Mira Rose. Opening and thumbnail image by Azine's Art on Instagram. You can find a link to Azine's social media in the description box. They are such a wonderful artist. Go give them a follow and some interactions on Instagram for me. They really deserve it. Now then, if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and leave a comment in the comments section. If you don't know what to comment, put Love Square Reveal. Now then, please enjoy Why Yes, We're Dating, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction. Today was the day. Today was the day they revealed their identities to each other. Marinette stared at herself in the mirror, cheeks already pink. It was time. She and Cat hit their 1-year anniversary about a month prior, and it was time. They'd been #Lady Noir trending their entire relationship, and many guessed they knew the other's identity. But alas, they were clueless. Marinette had no idea who her romantic/business partner was. But after today, she'd know. She'd know without a doubt. "Are you ready?" Tiki asked, floating up to unstick a piece of hair from her earring. "Yeah, thanks." Marinette stared at herself, false lashes and all, then slapped her cheeks. "Spots on." They were going to meet on the street they first ran into each other on. If only she knew then that she'd date the boy from the sky back then. He always knew they would, it seemed, but it took her a lot longer to get there. She hadn't liked Adrian when she first met Cat, but it took her time to accept dating someone besides him. Crushes were powerful that way. Ladybug tiptoed her way into this relationship, but she couldn't keep her toes in the water. It was time to take a polar bear plunge. "Hey, Super Cat," Ladybug said as he arrived. She'd beaten him here, as usual. "Hey." He had flowers. Tulips? They were red, whatever they were. "Where'd you go? The Netherlands?" "Only the best for my lady." She laughed, accepting them with a gratuitous, audible sniff. "So, I already checked. The park is clear." Her heart beat loud enough to shake her, unable to keep a clear mind in its overbearing loudness. She'd never been arrested, but this walk felt comparable to being led into the back of a squad car for an investigation even though you knew you'd be home by evening. They crawled under the elephant slide, a small amount of cover from any potential wandering eyes, and couldn't find a way to make eye contact with the other. At least she wasn't the only one feeling awkward about this. "Okay," he said, tracing his hand onto her shoulder. "Should we?" Ladybug couldn't fill in the answer for him. Instead, she nodded, blushing at the ground. "Okay," she heard him say. Then claws in, I guess." She saw sneakers in front of her, still unable to look up. It was her turn, wasn't it? This would be okay. Hawkmoth went missing 6 months ago. It was safe. It could have been a heart attack or car accident, but it didn't matter. Hawkmoth wasn't a threat right now. They could reveal themselves. "Come on, Marinette. You can do it." "Spots off," she whispered. Now she stared at her shoes and his, unable to raise her head. This was scary. "Ladybug?" she heard him say. Marinette tried lifting her head, but couldn't. She was a brave superhero, and she couldn't even look at her partner. Cool fingers touched her chin, tilting it up ever so slightly before hesitating. Her face rolled up slowly, her sight going from his shoes, to his jeans, to his chest, to... Marinette? Adrian whispered her name, nearly in awe. She didn't have time to worry about his reaction, because her tone matched his. Adrian? It was a breathless call, nearly in disbelief, or perhaps awe. Marinette, he said again. Adrian! She couldn't wrap her head around it. It was like her fight, flight, freeze, appease response glossed over her emotions, leaving her dumbfounded and in the moment. Marinette! Adrian laughed, still sounding like he was in disbelief. She began laughing as well, like sobs coating her throat, but relief instead of despair. Adrian! Are you gonna keep calling each other by name, or can we go get food now? Adrian looked at Plag, face drawn into a tight pout at his intrusion. Plag! He scolded. Marinette laughed harder as Tiki surfaced, settling on her shoulder, eating her post-transformation cookie. He's right. We have plans to get lunch together. There's so much to say, Adrian began, shaking his head. And somehow not at all, she finished. He looked at her smiling, his eyes full of the same warmth for her as when his mask was on. Yeah, he said as Plag struggled to get out of his death grip. Yeah, I suppose that's right. Shall we? He grabbed the accidentally disposed of tulips and offered her his hand as his kwami broke free. She accepted. We shall. Marinette couldn't stop smiling throughout their meal, and neither could he, although he wore a far more sheepish look. She hadn't processed that she was dating her old, abandoned crush, and if she had to guess, he probably felt something for not realizing she was under his nose for so long. She didn't feel bad about that last bit. Marinette never tried to find out his identity, so she didn't care that it took them this long. They paid for their meal and stepped out to the breezy afternoon, surrounded by pink petals and the couples on the street. Adrian? Marinette? It was Julika and Rose. Oh, hey, Adrian said, uncurling his fingers to wave. Are you two dating? Rose asked, her eyes locked onto Marinette's. Marinette looked up at Adrian and shrugged. I guess we... she began. Why, yes, Adrian said, smiling at the ground before looking at their unexpected confrontation. Yes, we're dating. Oh! Rose clapped her hands together in glee, her grin wrinkling her eyes. Oh, how wonderful! Julika, don't you think that's wonderful, Julika? Julika nodded. We'll let you get back to it then, she said, putting her arm around Rose's shoulder and leading her away. Yeah, thanks, Adrian said, running his fingers through his hair at the back of his neck as Marinette hid her smile with a cough. She knew he wasn't embarrassed of their relationship, but found it funny that he was a bit flustered at being called out so directly. You'll have to get used to saying that, she commented, gently placing a hand on his shoulder. Calling you my girlfriend? I'm so ready. Calling Marinette Adrian's girlfriend. He grinned. Do we tell them we've been dating for a day or more than a year? Oh, shush. She grabbed his hand and started walking. I'm serious. When's our anniversary? Now he was being Cat. You're silly. It would be a good question if it came from anyone but him. LB! She shushed him with a kiss. You sure know how to misread a moment. You know that? Or I'm good at making them. He pulled her in for another kiss. Going to work soon? I'd rather not. Well, I'm not going to call in, so I have to leave you anyway. Boo. He stuck out his lower lip as his hands locked behind her back. See you at 7 when you get off? I'll meet you at the bakery. You could have dinner with my parents, if you'd like, Marinette said, pressing her finger to her nose. She could hear her younger self screaming inside from the invitation. Nothing I'd like more. He grabbed her hand and pressed it to his lips, stepping back as a goodbye. Marinette smiled to herself as she watched him slide into the crowded sidewalk until he was another body in the crowd. She was dating Adrian Agreste! With that thought in mind, Marinette all but skipped her way back home to scream into her pillow and talk Tiki's ear off. Because yes, they were dating. She and Adrian Agreste were dating and in love. Marinette couldn't think of a better ending or a better start to their relationship. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this story, you can find more Miraculous Ladybug on this channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to stay up to date on the latest parts of your favorite fanfiction. Anyway, go ahead and smash that like button and leave a comment if you enjoyed this. If you don't know what to comment, put either Lady Noir or Adrianette, whichever one you'd prefer, so I know that you made it to the end of this video. Bye!